And we are back to discuss the final episode of Mandalorian Season 2, but before we begin, a couple of things. If you're supporting the channel on Patreon or YouTube memberships, I'll be uploading a few exclusive videos in regards to Star Wars and Thrones, so be on the lookout for that. If you're not supporting the channel yet, then consider doing so for only $1. I recently set up YouTube memberships as an option since so many people had a problem with Patreon, so definitely check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below and in the pinned comment. So, Preston, okay, so you're either you're either entirely a psychic or you're just very good at predicting things. So everybody was like hitting me up and letting me know like the bad news of what happened, and I messaged you on Facebook. I'm like, "Do you have your bingo card cuz
Oh,
you
right,
called
bringing
it."
all the plots together.
No,
Um,
the Boba Fett
oh,
actor
wh-
died.
which? Oh God, what?
Remember when you said like a couple weeks back, like
Yeah.
I put your Empire Strikes Back poster up, and you're like everybody who signed my poster is dead because David Prowse, and then you're like except for the Boba Fett actor, it's
Oh man.
you didn't know that he died like
No.
yesterday
Oh,
or
I'm looking
today.
at it now. Oh, that happened today. Oh man,
I
young
should
man.
upload up a clip of you
That's yeah, and like compare the two. Like, oh
yeah.
God, like, I,
Damn,
I
dude,
mean,
everybody in
like,
your poster is gone now.
everybody on my poster's gone. Well,
Well,
it's
rest
a
in
very
peace.
valuable poster to anyone named Preston.
Oh, that's right. They put your name on it. Well,
Yeah,
rest
yeah,
in
my
peace,
name's on
Jeremy
it.
Bullock, the original Boba Fett actor.
Yeah.
And we are back for some more Mandalorian. Probably, in my opinion, one of the best episodes ever.
Oh God.
I had pressed
Really?
it up on Facebook. I'm like, Preston, you gotta watch this. I fucking spammed you, and you
So
watched it. And
last week we both liked last week's episode quite a bit. This
yes.
week I hated this week's episode. You thought
What?
it was fantastic.
I thought it was awesome. Like, come on, this is this. Oh my god, this is what I've been. So it's funny. I did actually, I actually did a react recording to the big reveal because my buddy wakes me up and he
The
calls me.
big
He's like,
Bib Fortuna reveal, that big reveal.
my buddy wakes me up and he calls me and he goes, "Yo, Mando, let's go." And I'm like, "What's going on?" Just don't look at Twitter. Don't look at Twitter. I always look at Twitter when I wake up. Don't look at Twitter. Don't look at social media. Nothing. Wake up on this time. Start recording your reaction to the latest Mando episode. I'm like, "What's going on?" He goes, "You're gonna be happy and you're gonna be upset at the same time." I'm like, "How?" Happy that they did this. Upset that they could have done this for the sequel trilogy movies.
Mm.
And I got to agree with him. Like, everything we've gotten so far in season 2 of Mando has been much better than the fucking billions of dollars they spent creating the sequel trilogy movies.
I mean, I would say that Force Awakens and Last Jedi are better paced. I mean, there are times when like Mandalorian is slow, but um, I don't know. Uh, See, we'll talk about. See, I think this episode was not as good as last week's episode, and all the reasons I like last week's episode, like those things aren't in this week's episode, and I think those things that are lacking are things that are actually in the movies. So I wouldn't criticize the movies. Like the movies have some things that are really great about them. I mean, they're well directed, they're well paced, the action scenes are interesting, things like this. This
Mm-hmm.
episode, yeah, that didn't exist. I mean, I will say that in the start when they go into the bar, I liked the bar scene fine. That was great.
Should I do the summary?
Yeah, please, please.
An Imperial shuttle is disabled by Slave One, and the Mandalorian and Cara Dune board and capture Dr. Pershing. Next, they enlist the help of Bo-Katan and Kasoka Reeves, I think I'm saying that right, in return for Bo-Katan getting Gideon's cruiser and the Darksaber. The group use the shuttle to get close enough to crash land on Gideon's cruiser, with Fett pretending to attack them in Slave One. Bo-Katan, Koska? I think I'm saying that right. Fennec and Dune fight through stormtroopers to the cruiser's bridge. Meanwhile, the Mandalorian finds the Dark Troopers, barely defeats one of them, and ejects the rest into space. He fights Gideon with the Beskar spear and wins, making him the new rightful owner of the Darksaber. The Dark Troopers fly back onto the ship and attack. Before they are overwhelmed, Jedi Luke Skywalker arrives and easily defeats all the Dark Troopers. The Mandalorian gives Grogu permission to go with Skywalker and R2-D2 to complete his training. In a post-credit scene, Fett and Fennec travel to Jabba's palace on Tatooine, where Fett kills Bib Fortuna and takes the throne, ending the episode. Do you want to discuss the Boba Fett stuff first?
We can start with that. One, Bib Fortuna was on Jabba's barge, so I don't know how Bib Fortuna is still alive. Nonetheless, it was funny seeing him there and funny seeing that he'd gotten fat. I mean, that was funny. And then Boba Fett like walking in and just killing him. I mean, it was really stupid of him to go right on the trap door, but killing him and then taking over. That was that's more Boba Fett's personality. So, but at the same time, I'm disappointed that Boba Fett will no longer be part of the Mandalorian story, which is, I think, more interesting plot, right? Like how his father and he.
You mean his donor?
I mean, that was some bullshit. Okay, that shit. I didn't understand a lot of that conversation, so maybe you could help explain it to me. But
Sure.
But anyway, the ending. I like the ending fine, even though I don't know how Bib Fortuna would be alive, considering he was on Jabba's barge and Jabba's barge blew up. But
you were looking that up, yeah? I didn't think. I thought. I don't remember seeing Jabba.
He's definitely there. I just reviewed the scene. He's definitely there.
I don't remember him at Jabba's like I remember the guy with the weird hat that shoots Luke in the hand. Like I remember little details like that. I don't remember Bib Fortuna at all on Jabba's barge, but I guess maybe he escaped off screen somehow, even though it's a pretty hefty explosion in the middle of fucking
middle
nowhere.
of the desert. And then how would he get? Yeah, no, he's definitely there. There's two scenes in Jabba's barge. There's they flash between Luke and the execution on the outside, and then they flash to the inside with scenes of mainly Jabba, the band, Salcasius Crumb, and Leia, right? Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, when you see Leia, and you'll see Bib Fortuna like holding her, like being right there with her, making sure that she's not causing trouble. And then he kind of like doesn't do anything when she chokes Jabba to death. So I don't know. I mean, maybe he was busy escaping. Maybe he was like, "Oh man, things are going south," climbs out a window and starts running through the desert off screen. I guess that's what we have to assume. But
pretty much.
He was on that barge.
So, I don't know if you've ever seen, because the last thing we see is Boba with Fennec, and he's on the throne, and the way he's sitting, it really gave me Conan the Barbarian vibes, because have you ever seen Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Of course.
Remember at the very end, I think of the second movie or the first movie, or maybe the
He's
man.
Like, one day he was his king. But
yes,
that is another story.
Yes,
yeah, I remember that.
That's what it gave me off vibes of that.
Yeah.
One day Conan will be king, but this is not that story. Like, oh, okay, cool. And we never got that story.
We never did. Did I ever tell you that this is a random story? Is when I was a young man backpacking through Europe, I was in Prague, and the year was 1996, and we're walking through Prague. And then randomly, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like there's a crowd of people. And so we go over and Arnold Schwarzenegger walks by, like down, and then goes up to a stage and like is presented this sword. So the first thing that shocked me was, one, how tan he was, but two, like how short he was. Cause
well, dude, everyone's short to you. You're 6'6".
I mean, I think he's 6 feet tall. And so for me, 6'6", but you think of Arnold Schwarzenegger as being a mammoth, and so him walking by and being like, "Huh, that was Arnold Schwarzenegger." I mean, he's not short, he's not Sly Stallone, but 6 feet is still tall, but he's not the mammoth that you think of, And then he goes up there, and they present him this gift, this sword. I think he was promoting the movie Eraser or something. And they give him this sword, and he goes, "Wow, this is a really great gift. It makes me want to do another Conan movie." And then he takes the sword and he poses like Conan, and the entire crowd just goes nuts. And I was like, "Huh, that's the end of the story." And he never played Conan again. Damn it.
But no, like when he sits down and Fennec's right there and she takes a glug of whatever that blue thing is. Like it reminds me of that scene where Conan's just sitting there, like in the after credits, and like this is not the story of where he
Yeah.
becomes king, and he
But
has the crown and
it's
stuff.
just too bad because I feel like Boba Fett being part of the Mandalorian story is much more interesting to me.
Now, I gotta disagree. I feel as though he's fine as a guest star. And the one thing that always annoyed me about Boba Fett in Legends is that he would appear every now and then, like trying to chase Han Solo, and then he would fail, of course, because it's on Han Solo. You gotta keep Han Solo there. He would fail, and he would just look like a punk bitch. It was comical and a little cartoony how every time he appears, every now and then, to like chase Han Solo in the original,
And now it's
canon.
comic-y that he's suddenly competent because we've seen nothing but incompetence up until Mandalorian.
I like him better as a guest star, and I think Mandalorian, it's Mando's story, so I like it better when a lot of these big characters come in for a cameo and
Yeah.
don't overstay their welcome. Boba was overstaying his welcome a little
Well,
bit.
he didn't really
personal
do
opinion.
anything, did he?
I mean, he killed a lot of stormtroopers, much to your dismay, and
Like he killed some stormtroopers on a planet. Yeah.
and then he is the getaway driver, and then
Yeah.
he
And
is
he's
the decoy.
the decoy. Yeah, he's never really part of the plot. He's just kind of because Ming Na is. They throw Ming Na in there.
Oh,
But
Fennec is always like doing stuff, and I think that's for the best. Like, I
yeah,
don't think they want to like shoot their shot with Boba. They want to like hold off everything that he can do.
yeah.
So really, really interesting thing. So at the start of the episode, what I didn't mention is when they're capturing Dr. Pershing, we
Yeah.
have the
Is
showdown
Dr.
between.
Pershing, by the way, it just occurred to me, is he the only one in the Star Wars universe that wears glasses?
So I think my head canon for this explanation would be he can see fine. Maybe he has a problem with his eyes where maybe like he sees light a bit differently,
Hmm.
and so he needs the glasses to like tone down how bright he can see things.
Yeah.
Because those aren't glasses; they have a little bit of shade on them,
Yeah,
a
they're
little bit of color on them.
sunglasses, but
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm fine with it. But it just occurred to me like, huh, he's wearing glasses. You don't see glasses in Star Wars.
but when they go to capture Dr. Pershing, I thought it was really intense when Cara Dune comes to face with that Imperial shuttle pilot, and he's just a piece of shit.
But
Oh my god.
but this is another interesting thing though, is that he brings up like the Imperial perspective, which we don't really get very much of, like what does the average person believe? Um, I don't know how he was on the Death Star, saw Alderaan, and then got off the Death Star. I guess he was transferred or something, or
It's
I mean,
possible.
it's a really weird because we know the events pretty well, right? Like Alderaan is blown up, then they rescue the princess, and then the Death Star follows them back to Yavin, and then the Death Star is destroyed. Like there's not much time in there for people to leave the Death Star, and for what reason?
I'm sure
Yeah.
at one point before going into battle, several important people like just evacuate just in case, or maybe he was on a shuttle that was carrying a message to the Emperor.
He had shore leave at that time. They're like, shore leave. He's like, okay, my vacation's all right, off to vacation. And then he's like, phew, that was really good that I went on vacation. I was given leave right before the Death Star is blown up.
And I thought the whole like fight between Boba Fett and the Kasika girl was kind of like okay.
So they said a weird line in there that somebody said, I didn't think psychics were allowed to talk. Did you hear that line?
I'm pretty sure the line was sidekick, like she's implying that Boba just is Mando's like little partner, like Robin and Batman. He's Robin.
Yeah, I had to rewind what they were saying a few times, and I couldn't get what they were saying. But
Well, but Bo-Katan was calling him like his father a donor, and
right.
because
Well, at some
Django.
point she said, "You're not a Mandalorian," and then he's like, "I never said I was," which contradicts what Mando said. Mando said, "You really are a Mandalorian," But it's odd. I mean, this is
Yeah,
getting back to Rebels and the belief that Boba Fett and Jango Fett weren't real. but maybe in Bo-Katan's opinion. But,
Yeah, like
very
the
odd.
best way to describe like all the Mandalorian cults is like how on Earth we're all humans, but we have different religions. Christians believe one thing, Muslims believe another,
Yeah, yeah.
so on and so forth. But no, so when Bo-Katan said when he goes, "My father," and she goes, "You mean your donor?" Remember, Boba is a clone of Jango.
Of course.
Right. So
But it's
Bo-Katan is under the
still, he still
impression
raised him. He's still his father. I mean, that's just a
she
shitty,
doesn't know
shitty,
that.
it's a shitty thing to say.
Right, but she doesn't know that, and she has heard clone troopers talk 1,000 times before because she's been in contact with them several times. Clone troopers helped her take back her planet of Mandalore in the Clone Wars series finale,
Yeah.
before they turned on them as the Empire. That's the donor line.
Sure,
So,
sure. I understand the donor line. She's making fun of the fact that he's a clone,
mhm.
which is just it's a shitty thing to say to
the
someone.
whole fight between him and like that was so and fire, and when they like use their flamethrowers against each other, fire cancels out other fire. Like, what
Fire
is this,
cancels out
anime?
fire. Doesn't everyone know that? Fire cancels, fire cancels out fire. Everyone knows that. It was
They
also a
devised-
character we didn't care about. Like, who is that woman? The other Mandalorian, like, we just didn't care. Had he fought Bo-Katan, it would have been a little more interesting.
That is true, but I don't think Katie Sackhoff is ready for combat training yet.
Right, but this
Because that
gets me
woman
this,
is like an MMA fighter.
But
or
this
something.
gets me into like the, why I think it's more interesting learning about the Mandalorian background and everything, and Boba Fett's and Jango Fett's like relationship, which we still don't know. It's just kind of hazy at this point.
Well, from the sound of it, from towards the end, it sounds like that might be Mando's next mission. But so no, they devise a plan to go in there, and I have to say, when they start doing the plan and everything, the light cruiser is fucking ridiculous when it launches TIE fighters, because a normal Star Destroyer can launch a bunch of them at the same time. The light cruiser, they go through that little narrow like space to launch, and you can only launch one at a time. It's really inconvenient and quite stupid, really.
I mean, considering that this is a world where people come out of hyperspace, and you have to be able to defend yourself quite quickly. Yeah, that's really bad.
It's really fucking bad, and
it's the scene. I mean, everything about the action at this point. So I was fine with the episode. I liked the bar scene. I actually liked the bar scene fine. I liked them talking about politics. I liked the tension. And then once the action began, this was the worst action of the entire series, in my opinion. All the other episodes had much better action than this.
It's just Stormtrooper killing. At this point, I'm just so numb to it, and it's lame.
It's worse than that, because someone said in one of the comments, like, it's just putty patrol every time, and I was like, no, that's a disservice to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. At least with putty patrol, those putties were doing interesting martial arts against the actors who were doing interesting martial arts. And it's like, yes, the putty patrol is defeated every time, but they were at least doing martial arts. This episode was Ming-Na and
Cara
everybody
Dune.
Cara Dune just walking out straight up and just shooting people. Like, there was no dodging, there was no special moves. Like, they were just slaughtering people, and the stormtrooper, like, the level of incompetency for the stormtroopers was more than any other time. Like, at least
they did the thing that you hate, where like it's Ming-Na and Cara Dune are on the weird bridge, which for some reason has like a whatever, and
it has a floor into space. Like, why does the bridge have a floor into space? Is that where they shit?
Yeah,
I guess that's their bathroom.
I was actually thinking the same thing. I'm gonna throw the trash out. But the stormtroopers did that thing that you hate, where they walk up to them and they go, freeze. Just shoot them.
What are you doing? Like, what? Right. Like, and that's what I thought about too. Like, oh, we have to help our cruiser come in. Like, they keep taking advantage of the fact that the Empire is merciful. Like, oh, you're trying to rescue your injured and you're fleeing. Like, they could have just kept the shield up and been like, nope, and let the ship crash, and then they would have been fine. But the Empire is just too merciful. They're too nice.
I agree with you. After a while, watching them kill stormtroopers the way they did, it gets boring. It really does. It's just
And it was
eh.
they were killed in the worst way. Because if stormtroopers are that incompetent, think back to the opening scene of Star Wars. How incompetent were those rebels if they were slaughtered by a bunch of stormtroopers? Like they must have
Yeah.
been less than worthless.
It felt more like a lot of filler, time filling, like
Yeah,
Arya in the House of Black and White, washing dead bodies.
yeah.
Like it felt like that.
It meant nothing to me. It was like I said, it was it was less satisfying than Putty Patrol. It was the worst Star Wars action scene I've ever seen. Um, it was so low stakes. They slaughter everybody. They don't do any good. There's no good direction. There's no good action. There's no jumping, dodging. It was crap. They just slaughtered a bunch of people, and I'm supposed to think that's cool or something or badass. And then they would cut between scenes of them like unlocking the dark troopers for like they cut back and forth like 8 times, like release the dark troopers, and it's like, and then they show the scene of them unlocking, and they kept going back to it, and I was like, oh god, you know.
So let's get into meat and potatoes of the episode, the stuff I liked. His fight
Yeah.
with the one Dark Trooper was pretty fucking cool.
I agree that dark trooper and how it was just beating him up, and it was a struggle, was a good fight, and I thought the conversation with Moff Gideon and Moff Gideon's trick, I thought was pretty clever.
But like you said in a once again, like you
Yeah.
said, at this point, how does Mando not know everyone's either going to double cross him for his armor or just in general?
Just in
Like,
general.
how do you not know that? How do
Yeah.
you not know this? Like, and Gideon fooled me, and I think that's the actor Giancarlo Esposito. Gideon fooled me. Like, take the child. I got
Right,
his blood.
because at first I was like, what a stupid, petty idiot. Like, you could have walked off the ship, but then when he reveals the trick, I was like, oh, that's pretty clever. He like wanted to lose. Oh, that's pretty nice. You know? I thought that was that was like the big redeeming part of the episode. Like, if there was one thing that was cool, it was Moff Gideon's trick.
You think that was like his contingency plan? That in case he lost, his trick was that Mando would have to fight Bo-Katan. She would have to kill him regardless for the Darksaber.
So Moff Gideon, like like he knows he's in a bad situation, and he knows that Bo-Katan wants his Darksaber, and so what he does is he purposely attacks and loses to Mando intentionally in order to create conflict between Mando and Bo-Katan.
Right, but I don't think he was aiming to trick them. I think he was aiming mostly to kill the Mandalorian and possibly maybe go after Bo-Katan.
I mean, does that old man really think he can take on the Mandalorian? Like, my wife was watching it off and on, and she was like, "Why would a guy with a lightsaber attack someone who's in a lightsaber-proof suit?" And I was like,
because he has certain joints which aren't completely like lightsaber.
And then she asked, like, why isn't he aiming for the joints? Like, that was like the next thing she said. You know?
So I don't think he was trying to trick him. I think either way he was gonna win because he knew that Bo-Katan is not gonna let him be shot. He knew it. As soon as Mando spared him, he knew he had won in that regard. And he also had to buy time for the Dark Troopers to come back because they have jetpacks and they can come back. So
yeah, that was. I mean, when at first I was very disappointed when he jettisoned them into space. I was like, "Come on! First of all, why is there an airlock in their room? That's dumb." But then when they came back, I was like, "Well, at least they're coming back."
I'm assuming the airlock is in there just in case they go haywire.
Or like it's for landing on planets and for them to like come out quickly, because it takes forever for them to unlock.
Yeah, I guess. So after Gideon is defeated, Mando brings Gideon to the bridge and he gives him off to Bo-Katan. And I guess his trick here is revealed where, you know, Bo-Katan just won't take the Darksaber. She has to win it from Mando in single combat. And Mando's like, I don't care, just take it. Like, who cares? At this point, we're the entire audience with Mando. Just fucking take it, who cares? But it's like I told you last time with the Darksaber, and Gideon explained it perfectly, it's a symbol of power. She has to kind of earn it. Just like, what was the Valyrian steel sword? Blackfire.
Thank
you, Blackfire. it's a symbol of power, and she kind of has to win it like that. She's all about. She's not as religious as Mando's, group of people, but
Yeah.
she still adheres to the Mandalorian creed, where you kind of have to be the strongest.
Right, because most people would be like, well, why don't you just lie? Like, like no one's there. No one would know. Just tell everyone you beat him.
She would know. I guess that's too much for her. But as they're having this entire conversation, and I love Gideon here, by the way. Like it's perfect. Like he's taunting him at the same time. It's perfect. The Dark Troopers come back, and they come in, and I gotta say, they look really cool. They look very cool. I like the CGI they did with him. And then
they do remind me of Battlestar. But again, you haven't seen Battlestar. But
I haven't.
Maybe it was just on my mind again because Apollo is, or not Apollo, but Starbuck is there. But anyway,
Starbuck.
Bo-Katan's actress played Starbuck in Battlestar.
Oh right. And no, so they think they've won, but Gideon's Dark Troopers are coming back, and they fly into that little area that we saw earlier on the bridge. And they know what to do. They take positions, and they're right outside the bridge trying to get in until we see an X-Wing. And at first, I'm like, I actually recorded a reaction. At first, I'm like, oh, this is Ezra from Star Wars Rebels, the little kid who disappears with Thrawn. And it made sense to me because they mentioned Thrawn. We got Ahsoka. We're getting Mandalorians. Like Ezra,
I thought he might have been Mr. Kim for a second, but then I was like,
Mr. Kim, really?
Yeah. And then the minute, but then I was like, why would just Mr. Kim by himself? Like, he's not going to turn the tide of battle. But then, like, the minute somebody with a cloak came out, I was like, oh man.
So you thought it was Luke immediately?
Once a cloaked figure came out, because he wasn't. He started killing people with a single lightsaber blade, so I was like, well, it's not Ahsoka. Plus, they wouldn't hide it if it were Ahsoka.
Right, they wouldn't hide, and you could see like the little tendrils, whatever the hell shit that.
Once it was a green, once I saw a single green lightsaber blade. I mean, I suspected with the cloak, but once I saw the green lightsaber blade, I was like, yep, that's Luke.
So I thought it was Ezra because he also has a green lightsaber blade.
Ah, I see.
And I'm like thinking the entire time, yeah, like that's Ezra. There's no way Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have the balls to do Luke Skywalker. There's no way. But they did it. They did Luke Skywalker. That hallway scene, I'm assuming, is supposed to be poetic at rhymes, like the Rogue One hallway scene with Darth Vader, and he fucks them up. And I was actually quite shocked when he opens the door to the bridge and he takes off his thing. And it's Luke Skywalker. And it's not... This is Luke Skywalker. This is not Jake Skywalker. And for those of you who are confused, Mark Hamill did not like the direction for Luke in Last Jedi. He called him Jake Skywalker. He has actually done this in an interview. He has said, this is not Luke, this is Jake.
Here's the thing, though. Like with The Last Jedi, having Luke Skywalker show up with bad CGI does not make a good movie. Okay? Just because you throw in fucking the ultimate fan service of having Luke Skywalker there. I mean, The Last Jedi had plenty of fucking Luke Skywalker, didn't it? In bad with bad, aged down or whatever. There was nothing about the scene made sense. Like the timing, the Ex Machina aspect to it. Like, oh, you've got Ex Machina again. God damn it. Like, it was just fucking lazy writing. Like,
you
Luke
think
Skywalker comes in. Like, this is now, this is at 7-year-old writing level. 7-year-old, fanboy writing level. Okay, they're in this impossible situation. How are you going to solve it? Luke Skywalker saved them all! Okay, little kid. Why don't you go sit in the corner? No, Luke Skywalker comes in and he blasts all of the Dark Troopers and he saves them and he's with R2. Come on. There's
when R2 came up, actually.
This is a little child playing with action figures at this point.
And Preston, I love it. Ooh, Luke. This is Luke. It's not Jake. We haven't seen Luke since 83, which, what's that, fucking, what's the math here? Was that 37 years? We haven't seen this motherfucker in 37 years. Right? The math is right on this, right? Yeah, whatever. We haven't seen him. And before anybody goes, well, if you play Jedi Academy, well, if you suck my cock. No, I'm not playing a video game to get Luke Skywalker. This fucking Luke Sky. I will say, though, it kind of annoyed me that Hollywood still can't do deepfakes better than, like, some random guy in his basement.
Yes.
Because I've seen The Irishman. Have you seen The Irishman?
No.
So The Irishman brings back, like, Joe Pesci and De Niro, and they throw in Pacino and all that crap, and they de-age them, and it's just not that great.
Yeah.
The de-aging process is not that great. Someone on YouTube actually did the deepfakes, making them younger, because all these actors have appeared before in movies younger, and they did a better job at the deepfakes than this. This looked weird. At first, I was like, whoa! And then I went back and watched it several more times. The CGI in this man's face is weird. So, the actor is Max Lloyd Jones, and have you seen what he looks like?
I will.
Here. Let me send you a link on Facebook.
Max Lloyd Jones.
Max Lloyd Jones. This is.
Oh yeah, so he already kind of looks like him to begin with.
Yes. So, and then they added some like CGI here and there to make him look like it, but it looked weird.
He looked shiny and rubbery.
Look,
we all watch Corridor Crew, and we get some ideas about why the uncanny valley happens, and they talk about like how difficult it is to create like skin texture. They didn't do the work on the skin texture.
So the one thing they could have done that would have been much better. I don't know if you saw this, because I know you follow me on Twitter, but I don't know if you saw this. So I think I've said this to you before. I don't remember. For those of you who are curious, go to my Twitter, RedTeamReview.com, RedTeamReview@Twitter.com. Look at my December 11th post. Let me send it to you on Facebook. Can you see that?
All right. Oh, I see.
This is Sebastian Stan, the guy who plays the Winter Soldier in the Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah.
Sebastian Stan. Let me make sure. Right. He already kind of looks like Luke Skywalker. They could have just had him do that. Like, I don't understand why they need to put, like, the extra CGI on there. Like, fans would have forgiven it. Because we finally got Luke the way we've wanted to see him since 1983. Kicking ass, taking names, and just being fucking awesome. And I will say, when I first started seeing Luke, like, through the monitors, destroying these fucking things, it was kind of ominous and almost a little like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, he didn't give off the aura of a good guy. And he's still wearing the black that he was wearing in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, they are still just droids, though.
Right, but, like, did you get, like, this weird aura that, like, this might not be a good guy? When he was, like, chopping through him?
Well, I didn't because I knew it was Luke, but one of the things I was thinking about in a parallel way was why the hell would Mando trust this guy?
Well, he's a Jedi and he just saved their butts. He just saved their butts, so.
Right, but Mandalorians, like, shouldn't necessarily trust Jedis to begin with. Like, shouldn't he want to know at least to, like, do some background, have a background check on him? Like, hey, tell me about yourself. Where are you going to take him? Like, what's going to be, like, his life now? Like, do you know what he eats?
He doesn't want to go with you. He's waiting for your permission.
He's like, do you know what these guys eat? Because it's bone broth. Like, like, he likes to play with spheres. Like, does he know any of that? Like, he spent so little time talking to him. So I don't know why he trusted. Also, I thought, like, Luke showing up at that exact moment was just ridiculous. Like, come on.
Of course. It's ridiculous. This motherfucker is, like, he still has the same haircut and outfit from, like, 5 years ago in the series. Of course, it's fucking ridiculous. Right. But
it's like, you don't trust when Boba Fett arrives. You panic when a ship arrives and it's Boba Fett. But when an X-Wing shows up and Luke comes out, trust that guy. Also,
X-Wings are kind of symbol of the New Republic, so I guess they'd calm them down a little bit.
I guess, but like, also, how does he not know who Luke Skywalker is?
Like, oh, here we go. I was waiting. Oh, by the way, real quick before we jump into that,
Yeah.
you notice how when Gideon when Gideon is like noticing like someone's fucking up the Dark Troopers and he sees the monitor, he sees that it's someone with a fucking lightsaber. He immediately tries to cut his losses, shoots Bo-Katan, tries to kill the child and then himself. Like he got scared.
Yeah.
He knows who Luke Skywalker is.
I don't know why he'd be scared though. It's not like Luke's gonna torture him.
I mean, I don't think he knows that. He just knows that Luke Skywalker is the man who destroyed the first Death Star, and that Luke Skywalker has defeated Darth Vader. Because remember, Gideon knows everything, apparently.
Right. So, but that's the other thing. Like, oh wait, you're Luke Skywalker, the famous Luke Skywalker who destroyed the Death Star, whose sister is running the New Republic, who was a major general in the war. Like, shouldn't you know the Skywalker name? I don't know. Shouldn't he be a celebrity?
I don't think everybody is. Once again, the galaxy has trillions of people. I don't think everybody knows everybody.
It seems that way. The number of coincidences. I was also thinking like how lucky it was that Boba Fett was not part of the team. Because like,
that is so true.
Because otherwise, Luke would have gone in and he would have been like, that motherfucker threw me in a Sarlacc pit for years. He fucking dies. And Luke would have been like, you kidnapped my best friend and like froze him in carbonite. Like, man, it was a real good coincidence that like, that Boba Fett was not part of the
See, you're trying to see, audience. Preston's trying very hard to get me to understand that this episode wasn't that great. I still fucking loved it. We got fucking Luke. We got two.
See, you're still drunk on fanboy juice,
bro. We need this.
Once
Preston,
your fanboy juice wears off, it's like,
it's already wearing off. Quiet. No, Preston, we need this. This is like Game of Thrones fans. Like if we got like House of the Dragon, which by the way, I got a small teaser for it. House of the Dragon and House of the Dragon season 1 was great. Everybody's like, yeah, we need this. Star Wars fans need something that's not shit. That's not Rian Johnson's bullcrap. That's not J.J. Abrams' soft reboot for the 30th fucking time. Like, we need this. This is something we need, Preston. Fuck. This season has been good. It's been good. And this is good. It should have been Sebastian Stan, but whatever. This is a start.
I mean,
next season, though,
people are fine with actor changes. Like that, they're fine.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with this. Like Leia looked weird in Rogue One, and the way you could have done Peter Cushing with Tarkin is you could have just had him as a hologram. That's fine. Yeah. You didn't need to have Tarkin there in person.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But next season, fucking Han Solo. Ooh, wait, Han Solo.
Han Solo's gonna show up next season?
No, I want him to show up. We gotta go big. We have to go big. And they could even bring back the fucking kid from Solo. Or no, actually, you know what? No, fuck him. No, you know what? There's actually a guy who actually does look like young Harrison Ford. His name is Aldrin. Aldrin.
The guy who played him in Solo?
No, not him. Alden Ehrenreich. Oh wait, no, that is the guy. Who the fuck is the dude? Who is the man who looks like young Harrison Ford? It's not him. It's not Aldrin and Anthony Ingruber. Bro, look up Anthony Ingruber right now. I'm not even kidding with you. He looks more like Harrison Ford than fucking Alden Ehrenreich, whatever the fuck his name is. Look at this kid here, right here. Anthony Ingruber. Yeah. You see him?
Yeah.
Yo, that's young Harrison Ford.
I mean, he's close. I mean, Harrison Ford has a kind of larger nose, crooked nose.
Oh, get out of here! Like, no, this is yo,
he's got the same. Ford. He's got the same smirk. He's got the same like Harrison Ford smirk.
Yes, he does.
So I'll grant that he looked. And I think they did a great job in Solo. I think that's fine to have a change.
They could age him up a little bit, fuck it, or just have him like as the way Han Solo looked, because it's only been like a couple of years since Return of the Jedi and Mando, and at this point, Luke is actually So the reason Luke came to find Baby Yoda is because I'm pretty sure there are other Jedi out there who probably sensed Grogu. Luke is actually actively going around looking for Jedi artifacts and lore and stories about the Jedi so he can prepare to make his own temple.
So at this point, if now we're establishing that Grogu is joining Luke's school, does that mean that Grogu is killed by Kylo Ren?
I don't think that's what's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is Grogu's probably going to show up towards the very end of Mando Season 3 and probably sacrifice himself in some fashion. That's what I think is going to happen. Because I was wondering, now that Grogu's going with Luke, what's Mandalorian going to be about? Is it going to be about him helping Bo-Katan?
Yeah, it was really weird. So another thing that I thought was a little too bad is they blew their wad with taking off his helmet like last episode. Because so now when he took off his helmet again, like it wasn't that big of a deal, you know? Like had they saved it, you know, it would have been a bigger deal.
I kind of have to agree, and that was really a sad moment when like Grogu like is touching his face and all that. That was a sad moment.
Imagine if he hadn't done it season 1 or season 2, and that was the first time he took off his helmet.
Yo,
that
I
would
agree.
Have been, That would have been powerful. You know?
What's funny is they didn't have to show his face in season 1 when he gets injured and IG-11 comes in. Like they could have just had him taken off. Excuse me. They could have had him taking off his helmet. And it like just cut away to IG-11.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have to show his face.
We all know what Pedro Pascal looks like, but you know,
we've all seen Game of Thrones. Come on, season 4, one of the best seasons.
Come on, yeah.
But Preston, we need this. We need Luke fucking Skywalker, and quite frankly, we need Han Solo in season 3. We need Leia in season 4. Fuck it. Bring back
season 3 seems to be, I mean, now it's going to be about Mandalorian politics, but it's too bad that Boba Fett's not part of that, but we never got an explanation on how like Boba Fett got out of the pit, what he'd been doing for the years in between.
I think that's going to be the Book of Boba, which I think is fucking
why
hilarious.
Why didn't he kill Bib Fortuna years ago? Why did he wait? Why didn't he take out Timothy Oliphant? Like, or you're like, will they explain it, or will it just be a big plot hole, like the fact that Bib Fortuna is still alive? You know, I don't know. I don't know if they've done the rigorous research.
All they had to do was just do what you did and go on YouTube and watch that scene. That's all they had to do. But
I mean, yeah.
What's funny is they could have also had a Gamorrean guard in Jon Jabba's throne. Fuck it, right?
Sure. I mean, they clearly wanted somebody famous that we remember, and there's and so,
or better yet, the Rancor owner guy.
The Rancor Keeper. The Rancor Keeper was not on the barge. It could have been Rancor Keeper.
True.
Oh man.
But this episode, come on, like we needed this episode. And quite frankly, yes, I understand fanboy goggles are firmly on, but at the same time, like this is Filoni and Favreau have done what the fans wanted done for the longest time.
It's funny because it's not that you and I aren't disagreeing about what was good or bad in this episode, right? Like we liked and disliked the same things. It's just that you like the fanboy service stuff. You got way more excited about than I did.
You gotta listen to my reaction, dude. I flipped the fuck. I'm like, is this Ezra? Like, I flipped out. Like, Luke dude, the balls on these motherfuckers to put in Luke fucking Skywalker.
I mean,
and what's funny
are they? Are they Rian Johnson? Do they have the balls of Rian Johnson? If it has more balls than that, then right?
Rian Johnson has balls, but I don't like his balls. I like Dave Filoni's balls. Dave Filoni and John Favreau, these are the balls I'm putting in my mouth
balls,
and gargle.
But that's like too far. You're saying
that's too nah. We don't. I wanted Luke. I didn't want old man Logan Luke. I'm okay. This is the shit I wanted.
By the way, did you see Knives Out?
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it was really good.
It is really good. Like you watch it, you're like, oh man, like Rian Johnson's a really good filmmaker. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but like it's a really clever, well done like movie with like a lot of that's very detail oriented, and you're like, huh, like wow, you know. Like
I liked Looper. Like everybody points to that one Breaking Bad episode that he did. I can't even remember which one it was. So, but Looper, I know that he did. I like Looper. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought Looper was great. Yeah.
But no, like I don't disagree with you. Like the stormtrooper killing at this point, it's just boring, and it was just done to fill time. Like I didn't think it was that cool. Luke coming in at the end and taking Grogu and like the Darksaber fighting with Moff Gideon, that shit was cool. all of it was the Darksaber thing.
Yeah.
That was cool. The fact that like they even mention it, like this is Dark Trooper Phase 3.
Yeah.
They're just taking stuff from Legends and putting it back in where it belongs,
Had
which
at
is
least,
good.
they could have at least had one person die. Like, had Kira Dune or at least the other Mandalorian woman died, like, don't you think that would have been like finally add some stakes? But the fact that like
Yes.
every single one of them, like, she's disposable. Who cares about the other Mandalorian woman? Just have her die.
Or the other Mandalorian guy that appeared in like the third episode.
Yeah, yeah. Or Ming Na, or because no one cares about Ming Na's character. She hasn't had a line.
I mean, I'm actually surprised I haven't heard people bitch about like the feminism, because you remember these are 4 women going.
I did think about that. Like, I was like, 4 women going in and slaughtering everybody. That's unusual.
Yeah, cause yeah, normally, the fandom bitches about this, but I've heard nothing about the fandom. See, the whole fandom complaining about like feminine, I think that's bullshit and overplayed. I don't think people care as much as they care about actual fun characters. They know Bo-Katan's a fun character, Ming-Na's a badass, Cara Dune's badass. Like, they know these characters are like awesome and cool, so they don't care. But I haven't heard anybody say shit. Like, I'm sure you're gonna get the usual suspect YouTubers to fucking like complain about it for money, because that's all they do.
Yeah.
But I thought everything was cool. I agree with you. The mass killing of stormtroopers was fucking boring. Pacing was a little off, but we got fucking Luke Skywalker this season. I didn't expect that. That was awesome. Next season, we're getting Han Solo and Chewbacca, and after that, we're getting season 4 with Leia and fucking C-3PO. Actually, no, fucking scratch C-3PO.
Maybe Darth Maul will come back again.
Well, let's not go that far, but we're in the meeting room right now with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. We can discuss who's coming back. But first, let's get Han Solo in here. I want to see Han Solo.
Like,
maybe a fight.
You're like, how can you shove? We need to shove more Mandalorians and more lightsabers in this. How are we going to do it?
Somehow they're going to reach in the expanded universe and get Revan in there. It wouldn't make any sense.
I think we're going to get sick. I think there's going to be some fatigue when they start having the 35 series that they're having next year.
That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. I want to actually see more Mayfeld. Mayfeld was actually fucking sick. I want to see more Mayfeld. I want to see more characters like that. Ex-Imperials. I want to see a lot of the characters from Legends return, because that's been Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's
I want my own
job.
prequel series on the Pig Boy.
Pig Boy?
On Pig Boy. He would be boring as hell. Speaking all slowly. I want an entire series on moisture farming. Just moisture farming on Tatooine.
That giant ant thing from episode 2.
Yeah. We're gonna have a whole series on Tashi Station.
The Tashi Station Chronicles.
Yeah, Tashi Station Chronicles.
You know what's funny about this entire about all of season 2? Season 2 has been great. If we go back to season 1 was just like, yeah, it was okay. It was exactly that. It was just okay. Season 2 has been great. Other than episode 2, season 2 so far has been non-stop awesome. It has been non-stop awesome. You get Ahsoka, you mention a Thrawn, oh my god. You fucking Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, R2-D2,
Darksaber.
The Darksaber, Dark Troopers. Yo, what is happening? This is what we wanted. Take notes, Rian Johnson, you fuck. Sorry, I'm getting really excited.
Maybe they'll explain where Luke's lightsaber was all this time.
Preston, imagine, if you will, we get Winds of Winter, and the first page, Al-Ardim. We get Al-Ardim, the motherfucker you've been waiting for.
Whoa. Like, it's from Al-Ardim's perspective at the wall.
That's it.
First of all, there would be no better fucking opening. I mean, we know that's not going to happen, but because he's already said it's going to be like a Riverlands perspective. Everybody thinks it's going to be Jane Westerling or something.
Maybe he changes it. It's Al-Ardim and he arrives the same day at the wall, or literally the next day after Jon Snow gets stabbed. Imagine.
I mean, that would be. I mean, you're talking about something on a different level, though. I mean, that level of I'm trying to think of something in the Star Wars universe which would be like the equivalent, where it's just some background awesome mystery character that everyone's been talking about for years shows up. And I can't even think of like what it would be, you know?
Lobot?
The Lobot shows up. Okay, maybe you're right. I think Lobot might be like, if Lobot shows up in Mandalorian season 3, yeah, I would be like, oh my God, it's Lobot. Fuck yeah. And I'd be really excited about that. He's probably the only person that hasn't had a cameo, right?
We haven't seen Lando yet either, so.
Well, but he was in the new movies.
That's
I'm talking
true.
about like like who, like even the guys that harassed Luke and Ben at the bar got brought back in Rogue One, right?
Yeah, that's
right.
That was so dumb.
Like they've brought back everybody. Now they brought back Bib Fortuna. Like I say, like if it was like a series about Lobot and Rancor Keeper, like that's like all we have left.
Lobot and Rancor Keeper.
Of the fucking well. You know, the well is pretty dry at this point.
It's the new Disney Plus series, Lobot
and Rancor Keeper. Lobot and Rancor Keeper would be the fucking awesomest series.
Let's wrap this up. I thought the episode was great.
Nah, I mean, like I said, I liked the beginning. I liked the end. I thought the middle was just the worst piece of shit like I've ever seen. The ending was fine. It was fanboyish. I really enjoyed the trick and the complexities of like Mando, like being stuck now with the Darksaber. I think that's really interesting.
He's stuck with it now. She won't take it back.
Yeah. No, please take this shit. I don't care. Look, I'm gonna leave it on the floor and leave. Okay, like bye. Like if you don't take it, no one gets it. Like that's.
As soon as Grogu leaves, she just challenges him, and he's like, "Look, let's just do like a game of tic-tac-toe," and she just loses every time. Thumb war, loses.
It's like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. She's like, they do Battleship, and she's like, best 2 out of 3. It's like they do Clue, and then they do Twister, and she keeps freaking losing. She's like, damn it, I'm trying to lose. Bo-Katan, you're horrible.
All right, Durez, do you want to wrap it up here?
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us, as always. We will see you next year for more Mandalorian, hopefully, and maybe Book of Boba. I don't know if I want to cover that. Like, I kind of don't care about Boba Fett. I think they're gonna like
Lobot and Rancor Keeper.
Right, we'll see you next year for Lobot.
Can someone make us Lobot and Rancor Keeper like buddy action fan art? Like,
they better fucking do it.
Because all I want is like a series about Lobot and Rancor Keeper.
Send it to me. Send it to me on Facebook or Discord or Instagram. It's RedTeamReview all over the place. Send me that, and I will put it up on everywhere. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.